We're shooting this week's video and what will appear next week from the offices here in Victory Media. We're going to look at Jack Bogle, founder of Vanguard, 7 lessons for financial advisors, and how we're trying to live some of those out at 10 Capital. So Jack Bogle, as you may know, founded the behemoth that is Vanguard. He passed away after a long, full, and very fruitful life a few weeks ago. And I came across an article by Matt Oeshi on 7 lessons for financial advisors from Jack Bogle. And I got to thinking about it, talking through it with a number of the colleagues at the firm, and really reflecting how we're trying to live each of those out. We're not going to be able to get to all 7 this week, so you're going to see me in the same getup in next week's. We'll cut it into 2 parts, but the 7 lessons were humility, approaching the business with humility, being client-centric, being able to set realistic expectation for what's possible with clients, having a good moral compass, keeping things simple for those you're trying to serve, being bold, and lastly, being about self-actualization, not greed. So let's get through at least the first few this week and then finish it up next week. So as for humility, one of the things Matt talked about in his article was, Bogle, for all his success, and obviously it was tremendous, Vanguard being one of the largest institutions in financial services in the world, his net worth by the end of it was about $80 million. You compare that, as Matt did, with the Fidelity family that's worth about $50 billion. And the point he was making there again was Bogle wasn't about money. He wasn't necessarily in it for the money. I'm sure he made more than that, but gave so much of it away. When it comes to humility at 10 Capital and really how we try to work that out, probably one of the biggest things, I've touched on this repeatedly, but it bears repeating, is the team concept that we bring. Not people sharing offices, not people who might show up just to the same events, but literally working, collaborating, supporting, not only professionally, but at times emotionally. It can be a very draining job as you're walking through things with clients' lives, good, bad, and otherwise with them, to really have people you can count on and to give up that ego, to give up that sense of an ability to just go it alone, I think is really critical. And as my colleague, partner, best friend Jake often says, everybody who walks in here to 10 Capital to work has to leave a little ego at the door, and I think that it just couldn't be better said. The other thing around humility is just being honest about what we can control. We can't control the markets. We don't know better than anyone else exactly what the market's going to do one day, 1 year, and setting that expectation with clients is, there is a path to success from what we can control and what you can control that doesn't have to be predicated on predicting the future or having some magic product, which again is still far too prevalent in the industry. The last is, within humility, understanding that success is again based on so many factors, not only our colleagues, but all the clients that pay us the honor of working with us, and then finding that way to give back. For us, that can be enhancing the client experience all the time, events that we throw to show appreciation, create unique opportunities. Jake touched on this last week, but we got our, March Madness NCAA viewing party coming up. We're excited about that. That's such a fun event just to build relationships. Or in April when we've got someone from the MIT Age Lab coming to talk about aging and really how to do it effectively and all the new things that can be done to enhance that experience. So again, as we succeed, paying that back and the community involvement as well that I touched on in the State of the Union piece I did a couple weeks ago. Second is being client-centric, and this is again about so many things, but for us, it's about taking the time to, again, not be about product or about solutions or some ability to prognosticate, but taking the time to build relationships, to focus on planning, helping people uncover those goals, those purposes that they want guiding their financial lives, or at least if they know them, making sure we understand them and are building to that. That's being client-centric. Again, it's leaving some ego at the door, as we just touched on, to work with a team so the client gets to work with an expert and someone who's passionate about each aspect with whomever they interact with. It's about all the communications. It's about this, meeting people where they're at, putting in that extra effort on an afternoon to make sure people know who they're working with or might be working with and what they're all about or what's going on in the market. That's, for at least for us, how we attempt to be very client-centric. Lastly, and we'll have to leave it here for this week in the name of time sensitivity, the third of his 7 points was realistic expectations. Again, helping clients know and let go of those things that they can't control and defining that, as well as focusing then the time and efforts we do have on those things we can control, so that when, again, things come up in life that are unexpected, markets get hot, markets get volatile, those emotions of fear and greed won't be leading us to make bad decisions. And while the industry is full of platitudes, hey, stay invested, you're a long-term investor, and patience is critical, it is about the why. And that takes, for our side, having great partners, being a student of our craft so that you can really explain the nuance and the depth to clients, again, hopefully in a clear and concise way, so that they don't just have some cliche that they already know to walk away with, but when you're telling them to stay the course and the why, they really understand the plan. They really understand what's going on. You can share with them insights from great partners that you have that are experts in that particular area, so that, again, they can have that confidence, that clarity on some level to be able to stay the course. We'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll finish up here in a little bit with the last 4 of 7 lessons for financial advisors by Jack Bogle.